Hey everyone, it's J-Rock, and today I've got another tutorial for you. We are building a mob farm. So this is everything you're gonna need. These are not exact, but definitely bring along plenty of building blocks, some slabs and stairs. For the redstone, this is what you'll need per layer. So however many layers you'll be building, make sure you bring some of that along. And there's a couple of ways to do this, either by tripwire or by a timer. So if you're doing it for a tripwire, then make sure you bring along this many per layer. Or if you're doing it on a timer, you just need one timer. So this is what we'll build our timer on. And half a stack of hoppers and at least a couple of chests for our collection. So let's get into it. Now go ahead and grab some scaffolding, and we'll go ahead and get some of our blocks ready. So there's two ways you can do this. You can either have your mobs be killed by drop, or you can use a campfire and not have to build it so high up. So this one, I think I'll use a campfire, which I didn't show in the material list, but you will need quite a few of them. Now the soul campfires do deal more damage, but if you don't have access to the nether yet, then a regular campfire will be just fine. So we'll be building the campfire version, and I have a drop kill version off in that direction I can show you once we are done. And this will give you about 3,500 mob drops per hour, and that is including spiders, zombies, skeletons, and creepers. So yes, you can get plenty of gunpowder from this. So since we're not doing the drop height, we're going to take this up only about 20 blocks or so. Okay, so we've got our scaffolding up 20 blocks, and this will still do plenty of damage. So it won't take long for the campfire to take them out. So right here, we want to make sure we've got about a 3x3 gap. So I'm going to represent that with our scaffolding for now. And we'll build everything else off of this. Now go ahead and get your building blocks. And if you want to save blocks, just use top slabs. Either way will work fine. So, but for this, I'm going to use regular blocks. So we're going to come out, and we're going to take this out 8 blocks. We're going to do that on both sides. And this is going to be what funnels all of our mobs down into the hoppers that we're going to put below. And we need to put one extra on the outside of this. It's going to be the base of each of our platforms. So I'm going to build this part up and be back in just a second. Okay, so I got this platform all built up. And next we want to put one of our layers in. So we're going to start right here and go ahead and line this all the way down. We can start at the middle, and we're going to go 15 blocks. So put one there, and then just go 7 out on each side. And we're going to do this on both sides, because we're going to build this up both ways, funneling right down into the center. And one other thing I forgot to mention in the material list is we will need water. So make sure you bring along at least 2 water buckets. That'll get you an infinite water source. And we're going to get some water streams in this, so we can funnel all of our mobs right here to this center hole. Okay, now that I've got my water bucket, I want to come out one past the edge. So this will be block number 9 if you're counting. And the furthest block out that we placed, that's where our water is going to go. And you'll see that it stops right before this. And if you find that some of your mobs are getting stuck on this lip right here, you can go ahead and just change that out with stairs. And actually, we'll go ahead and do that on all these platforms also. So these sides that we've already placed, we're going to use stairs instead. Okay, so I actually replaced all of these with stairs. And you'll see I did one side over here. We placed stairs on top of that 8th block. And that is so we can waterlog it and have a good steady stream going right towards the center. And this is why we did it as 8 blocks. As you can see, it stops right here, just before the hole. We don't have to put any fence gates or anything else in place. And I also replaced the edge with stair blocks there. That way, the mobs that get to this point will not have to, or will not be able to fight before they drop. So let's go over and build this side up. Line that with stairs. Get our water. We'll go ahead and waterlog those stairs and have it come right along to the edge, just like that. So we can see there's nothing holding the water back, and it's stopping right at the center. Next, we want to focus our attention on the side platforms. So you've got them lined with stairs. So we want to make this 15 wide, and we want to come back 7 blocks, just like this one is. So we count the stairs 1, so there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we'll actually come back 1 more to make 8, and this is going to be the same distance because of the water, because we're going to be flushing all of our mobs with water towards the center trough here. So let's get this filled in. Okay, so I went ahead and filled in both sides of this. And we want to come around on the edge and make sure we put 1 block above. We don't really need that one. We need to get 1 block above to hold all the water in. And if you're going to do the tripwire hook method, then we need an extra block on top. And this is where our tripwires will go on this level here, because if we put them on the bottom, the water that flushes this would get rid of all of our string, and we would lose any way to tell that mobs were in here to trigger them to fall to their death. So I'm going to go ahead and build this up, one side with the tripwire method and the other side with the timing method. So I'm going to get the tripwires put in and finish getting this border placed and be right back. Okay, so I got all the walls put in, and I'm going to go ahead and put the tripwires in place. So I'm going to do every other one except for this last one. We're going to have a row of water along this last one here. And that's going to be held back by trapdoors, which I also forgot to put in the material list, but make sure you bring some trapdoors. As many for, you'll need 15 for as many platforms as you're doing. So since I'm doing 2, I'm going to need 30 trapdoors. And they can be wood or iron, because they're going to be powered by redstone. And we'll hook that up in just a second. And we'll see how the tripwire method works. So you can see anytime I pass through it, activates those tripwires. So if a mob spawns, if a creeper spawns right here and walks just a little bit, it activates that, and we're going to put the redstone in to activate these trapdoors. So let's go ahead and grab some trapdoors and use some chocolate bars. We'll go ahead and flip those up, and we want to make sure to waterlog these. So after you've got that, go back and get your water bucket and fill this all in with water. So we can see whenever these open up, it'll flood all that out. All right, now go make sure you go get your redstone, and we're going to put redstone on top of all of these where the tripwires are. And on the very edge, get your redstone torch and your repeaters. And we're going to put the redstone torch coming out like that, with a piece of redstone dust here, a repeater set to 4 ticks. And we're going to line all of this with redstone dust all the way up until here. We'll put 1 more piece on the edge and repeat the same thing, but in reverse on this side. So repeater pointing in on 4 ticks with redstone torch outside. So what that will do is the 4 ticks on the repeaters gives delay. So whenever a mob, creeper, skeleton, anything hits these tripwires, that delay helps the trapdoors to be open long enough for the water to flush out whatever mob is coming through. So now your tripwire side is done. Now let's go build up the timer side. So all of the borders and everything is going to be the same. The difference is you're not going to put tripwires or redstone along the sides like you can see right there. Instead, we're still going to have all the redstone along the back, but there's going to be a little extra stuff going on, and you can put this either off to one side or the other, to the back, underneath, wherever you want to put it, as long as you connect it up properly and make sure all of your signal strengths are still good. Now let's build up the border and get all of our water and trapdoors in place. One thing I forgot to mention is that any spots that are open, like these open top parts of the blocks behind me, make sure you cover those with bottom slabs or some way to make them non-spawnable blocks. So for this, obviously I'm going to use bottom slabs, and so far these are the only blocks in our farm that we don't want any mobs spawning on. I took a minute and I built up this little platform. This is a 13 by 2 platform with a little jut off to the side to get up to that redstone torch. And this is where we're going to put our timing circuit. And this is also the reason that we made this 15 wide, because that is how long the signal strength for redstone can reach. So if we open up our debug screen and look right there, you'll see on the right side power 15. And as we go on down the line, we're down to power 7, 3, 2, and 1. And we can look, and one more redstone and it will have no power. So we don't want to put anything there, build this any wider than 15. Now next, you want to build your timing circuit. So whichever side you have your redstone torch stair step coming up from, you want to go to the opposite side, place a piece of redstone dust with your comparator in front, another piece of dust off to the side, and make sure you get your lever, which I definitely didn't also forget to tell you to bring. And we'll power this block. Make sure your comparator is in subtract mode. Now go all the way up with your repeaters and make sure you set them all on 4 ticks. And if you find that this is too long of a delay for mobs, either for spawning or flushing them out, then you can remove some of these and shorten your timing circuit. Or if you find that it's too short, you can come in and add some more. I can click. You can add some extra to make it even longer. But we're just going to go with what I had originally. So now we're going to run 2 pieces of redstone dust and run a full set of repeaters all the way back, and make sure you set all these to 4 ticks to get that maximum delay from them. And we can see that has already started. Now take 2 of your leftover repeaters, and the timing doesn't really matter on these. They just need to run straight into this block here, and that's going to power and unpower that block. Then come around to the back side and place a redstone torch right there to go on that block, and another one there. And everything's done. All that's left now is to cover this and get it in the dark. And of course, with the timing circuit, you can build however many of these up that you want, and this can act as your torch tower and just build the rest of it off from that. Or you could even come over here and run a redstone line up just like that and have it run all the way across your next layer right above it. And if you do have this built and you find that you've built it too tall, then Enderman will spawn in here. If you want to prevent that, just put some slabs on the ceiling so that there is less than 3 full blocks and you won't get any Enderman spawning. So let's take all of this out and we'll cover this up. And there's 2 ways you can do it. You can either put a roof over the whole thing that is large enough to get everything in darkness, because of course mobs can only spawn at light level 7 or less, or you can completely encase it to where it's all over the top and coming down the sides. For this one, I'm going to put a massive roof on it, but I'll show you another design where it's just encased all inside of a box. And so let's get started building the roof. Okay, so I've come over here on the tripwire side to make sure I get exactly 2 blocks above. And I'm going to start with my slabs, which I think I put back away, and I did. So we'll get our slabs back out and place them right there. And that just kind of is telling me where this needs to go. So here's the actual center. So from here, once you get to the edge of your farm, then you want to make sure you go out 10 more blocks, and that'll get the light level down low enough on the outer edges for mobs to start spawning. And obviously you can take it out even further if you really want, but take it out at least 10 past all of the edges. And a quick note, once you get to this area with the redstone, you can leave the redstone exposed because it is not spawnable. And since the slabs are a transparent block, they will not power and cause torch burnout. So we can come up through here and fill it in just like this, and that'll be perfectly fine. So I'm going to finish filling in this roof and be back in just a second. A quick tip while you're building this, make sure you light up all of your area before you put your roof on. Otherwise, well, you see the party going on down there. Nobody wants to be part of that. That's not ready for it. Anyway, okay, back to putting the roof on. Okay, as you can see, I have lit the area up a little bit. So now we want to make sure we get our hoppers in place. So we'll come down right beneath the center of the farm and get our hoppers first of all, and our chests. So right here's the center, and I've got this 5x5 space cleared out for our hoppers, and get an extra little bit cleared out for the chest. So I'm going to go and put our chest in place, and then get all of our hoppers running into it. And you can orient your hoppers however you want. This is just how I'm doing it here to help increase the speed that these items are going to come into the chest, because once this gets going, it's going to go fast. Next, we want to come in with our campfires, and we'll shift click and place a campfire on all of these. And no, these will not burn up the items. They'll get sucked up by the hoppers before that happens. So now all we have to do is step back and watch this farm work. And the reason that we're having to back up, oh, there we go. There's some already. And if you really want, you can put a border up around this. You can do that with walls or fences. If you're going to use the campfire method, I would definitely do walls and probably put them double wide or too tall. That way mobs cannot escape once they get there. There. So all the walls are in place. I can still come in and access the chest. If I really was worried about it, I could do something like that, so I could still reach it, but they still couldn't get out if they came off of that. And if you wanted to be able to have this run while you're standing right here, then just raise up your farm a few more blocks, because mobs have to be at least 24 blocks away from you to be able to spawn in any direction, vertically included. So I'm going to back up a little bit and we can watch this work. Now with this farm, it will run faster the more layers you put in, because that provides more areas and more blocks for mobs to have a chance to spawn in. But once it gets rolling, as you can see, there's mobs coming through, getting ready to drop right now. This still provides a steady enough stream that for at least a single player world, I think you'll be just fine. So let's check and see what we've got just in the last little bit. Okay, so we've already got that much. So I'm going to leave this here, and let's go take a look at the other version of this. This other version is built up a few layers, and it is over this way. And instead of the roof, it's done with a box, and all the layers in it are done with the tripwire. So I'm going to switch over into spectator and we'll take a look at how all of the inside of this is done. So you can see all of this is the same. I actually miscalculated everything, so Endermen are spawning in this one, but that's not a big deal. But you can see, the spiders do spawn. They don't pick up the tripwire hooks, but eventually something else will come in and take the spiders out with it, and that's fine. So you can see all the way up through the top. There's a creeper here that just has not walked into that tripwire yet, but he will. So now let's come back out of here and watch how well this works. So if I come down here, and I just want to show you this, I AFK'd for 1 hour. I used carpet mod to speed the game up and was able to fill this entire chest up plus some hoppers. So let's go ahead and clear all of this out. So we'll just do this and get rid of all those entities. There we go. So I'm going to come back in here with a double chest, and we can watch. You can watch just how quickly me just standing here, this will fill up. And this is using obviously drop fall damage. There are the occasional Endermen that you have to take care of, but other than that, this will provide any mob drop you could possibly need. Just since we've been talking, we've already got 4, almost 5 stacks of gunpowder. This will supply all of your bones you could ever need for bone meal. String is taken care of. You almost wouldn't even need infinity from all of the arrows you're going to get from this. Look, we're already almost at, we just passed 6 stacks of gunpowder, and it's not even been, what, 45 seconds, maybe a minute. So yeah, there we go. And that was the same design as over there, and we replicated that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers. So 6 layers of double wide around this one very small collection system, or very small collection chamber. This way you don't need to build a gigantic pool at the bottom to funnel them all in. You can have one little strip of water to bring them all through and get so many drops. Even we have some witches coming through doing sticks and glowstone. So many drops. So anyway, there it is. I hope you liked it. Let me know if you build this in your world, how well it does for you. Make sure you leave a like down down below if you enjoyed this. And if you want to see more tutorials and other Minecraft videos, make sure you subscribe. See ya!